Welcome back to Pleasure Principles. Today, we're diving into a topic shrouded in myths and misconceptions, orgasms. Whether you're just starting to explore your sexuality or you're a seasoned pro, there's always something new to learn about this incredible bodily experience. And trust me, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So buckle up because we're about to debunk the top 10 myths about male and female orgasms and shed some light on the science behind them. Let's get started. Let's kick things off by busting this harmful myth wide open. Both men and women experience orgasms. Men often have a more outwardly pronounced climax, with the whole ejaculation thing. Women, on the other hand, experience orgasms in a variety of ways, with varying intensity and duration. Some women describe it as a wave, others as an explosion, and some as a more subtle but no less pleasurable feeling of release. During orgasm, both men and women's bodies release a cocktail of feel-good hormones like oxytocin and dopamine. These hormones are responsible for those feelings of intense pleasure, relaxation, and emotional bonding we experience after climax. It's important to remember that everyone experiences pleasure differently. The key is to communicate with your partner, explore what feels good, and celebrate the beautiful diversity of human sexual response. Let's spread the truth about pleasure, one myth-busting conversation at a time. This is another myth that needs to be laid to rest. It's true that the clitoris plays a starring role in many women's orgasms. However, to say that women can't orgasm without direct clitoral stimulation is a gross oversimplification. Some women can achieve orgasm through vaginal penetration alone, often referred to as a deep or G-spot orgasm. The key here is individual anatomy. The location and sensitivity of the G-spot, which is actually a network of nerves and tissues, can vary from woman to woman. For some, stimulating this area during penetration can be incredibly pleasurable and even lead to orgasm. The best way to discover what works for you and your partner is through open communication, experimentation, and a healthy dose of curiosity. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. All right, guys, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the myth in everyone's mind. We've all heard it before, the age-old adage that bigger is better when it comes to penises and pleasure. But let me tell you, that's just not how it works. The truth is, the size of a man's penis has very little to do with a woman's ability to orgasm. What truly matters when it comes to sexual satisfaction are the things you can't measure with a ruler: emotional connection, comfort, communication, and yes, technique. Knowing how to stimulate your partner's erogenous zones, how to move your body in sync, how to create a sense of anticipation and build-up, those are the things that lead to mind-blowing orgasms, regardless of size. So let's ditch the insecurities and focus on what truly matters: connection, communication, and exploring each other's bodies with love and respect. Think about it: a passionate kiss, a loving touch, the feeling of truly being desired. These are the things that create real sparks in the bedroom. Let's clear up another common misconception. While ejaculation is a key part of the male orgasm experience, it's not a requirement for everyone, every time. For men, orgasm and ejaculation usually go hand in hand, but sometimes men can experience what's called a dry orgasm, where they have the sensations of orgasm without ejaculating any semen. It's more common than you might think. And for women, well, we don't ejaculate in the traditional sense at all. Our orgasms are all about muscle contractions, specifically in the pelvic floor muscles, which create those waves of pleasure. Both men and women experience a surge of electrical activity in the brain during orgasm. This surge triggers a series of muscle contractions in the pelvic region, leading to those toe-curling sensations. Whether or not ejaculation happens is just one part of that complex process. Orgasms are about the release of sexual tension and the experience of intense pleasure with or without ejaculation. While we all dream of those earth-shattering, mind-blowing orgasms, the reality is that not every climax is created equal. Just like any other bodily function, orgasms can vary in intensity depending on a whole host of factors. How well did you sleep last night? How stressed are you feeling? Have you had enough water today? All of these things can impact your body's ability to fully let go and experience the full force of an orgasm. Sometimes it's a gentle wave of pleasure. Other times it's a crashing tsunami. Both are perfectly normal and valid. The intensity of an orgasm doesn't diminish its validity or the pleasure it brings. Sometimes those softer, more subtle orgasms can be incredibly satisfying in their own right. Embrace the experience for what it is, and remember that pleasure comes in many forms. This myth is just plain wrong. Pleasure has no expiration date. While it's true that our bodies change as we age and hormonal shifts can impact sexual function, that doesn't mean our ability to experience incredible orgasms magically disappears. In fact, many people find that their sex lives, and yes, their orgasms, get even better with age. Why? Because with age comes experience, self-awareness, and a deeper understanding of our bodies and desires. We learn to communicate our needs more effectively, to ask for what we want, and to let go of any insecurities or hang-ups that might have held us back in our younger years. So, whether you're in your 20s, 40s, 60s, or beyond, know that you deserve to experience pleasure and fulfillment at every stage of life. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay, this one is less about orgasms and more about reproductive health, but it's a myth that needs to be busted. While it's true that the chances of getting pregnant during your period are lower than at other times in your cycle, it's not impossible. Sperm are incredibly resilient little swimmers. They can survive inside the female reproductive tract for up to 5 days, just waiting for an egg to be released. So, if you have sex towards the end of your period and you happen to ovulate early, there's a chance that those persistent sperm could still be hanging around, ready to fertilize an egg. If you're not trying to get pregnant, using reliable contraception is always the best way to prevent unintended pregnancy, regardless of where you are in your cycle. But let's not forget that periods are natural, healthy, and nothing to be ashamed of. And if you're trying to conceive, understanding your cycle and tracking your ovulation is key, regardless of when you have sex. To say that orgasms are just physical is like saying a symphony is just a bunch of sounds. Sure, there's a physical component to it, but it's the emotional and psychological aspects that make it truly special. When you orgasm, it's not just your body that's flooded with sensations. Your mind is racing too, filled with thoughts, emotions, and a sense of deep connection with your partner. During orgasm, our brains release a surge of hormones like oxytocin and dopamine, often referred to as the cuddle hormone and the feel-good hormone, respectively. These hormones play crucial roles in fostering emotional bonding, trust, and intimacy. It's a beautiful and complex dance between the physical and the emotional, and it's what makes sex so much more than just a physical act. Appreciate the full spectrum of what's happening, both in your body and your mind. This myth is not only untrue, it's also incredibly damaging. Let's set the record straight. Not all women fake orgasms. In fact, most women want to experience genuine pleasure with their partners and wouldn't dream of faking it. However, it's important to acknowledge that some women do occasionally fake orgasms, and there are a variety of reasons why. Some might feel pressured to perform or please their partner, especially if they sense their partner is close to climax. The problem with faking orgasms is that it creates a cycle of miscommunication and unmet needs in the bedroom. If you're not honest with your partner about what feels good, how can you expect them to help you get there? The solution? Open and honest communication. Remember, intimacy thrives on vulnerability and trust. While orgasms can be an incredible part of the sexual experience, they shouldn't be the be-all and end-all. Sex is about so much more than just reaching the finish line. It's about connection, intimacy, pleasure, exploration, and expressing love and desire for your partner. If you're constantly focused on achieving orgasm, you might miss out on all the other amazing sensations and emotions that sex has to offer. The build-up, the anticipation, the exploration of each other's bodies. These are all essential parts of a fulfilling sexual experience. Sometimes the journey is just as important as the destination. The hottest encounters are the ones where you don't even cross the finish line, but you enjoy every single second of the journey together. Try to let go of any pressure to climax. You might be surprised at how much more fulfilling and intimate your sex life becomes when you take the pressure off. There you have it. We've debunked some common myths about male and female orgasms and explored the fascinating biology behind them. Remember, everyone experiences pleasure differently, and there's no one-size-fits-all approach to sex. What matters most is open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to explore and experiment together. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insightful content. Until next time, keep exploring and embracing pleasure.